Hello and welcome back, everyone, to what will be game 2 of our series of CGA taking on Detonation Focus Me. And I think game 1 was a fairly expected outcome, especially after seeing the draft from CGA. It was just one of those games that you can have nice pieces that all work together, you can have nice pieces that don't explicitly work together, and you can still make that kind of a comp work. But I definitely feel like it was a lot of CGA kind of jumping the gun with the Syndra pickup. You saw Renekton Italy, you want to draft something safe, they go in for the Syndra, and then once you have Lucian and Syndra together, it's already starting to fall apart in terms of the draft. But then Detonation Focus Me just draft up a couple defensive carries that scale fairly well. And it kind of leaves CGA in an awkward spot. The Shen pickup as well, I think, was just sort of kind of out there. It didn't really seem to have anything that was pairing alongside of it. No Hecarims, no delivery service. It doesn't really protect anything. When Syndra protects herself, Graves can fairly protect himself with the smoke screen. Sure, Lucian is going in, but it's not exactly like he ever should be melee range with any of the members of DFM, so definitely drafting mistakes that CGA really need to be cleaning up on going from game 1 to game 2 here. As there is ways to beat what DFM kind of drafted themselves into, but most notably, no Zoe being seen on either side. Saros has already been known to not be a huge fan of Zoe, but for Arya to not opt into a Zoe or into any kind of poke comp into what DFM have, it really left a lot to be desired from CGA. As, of course, not to say that a poke comp would have been the only avenue for victory there, but it definitely would have been a lot easier than this sort of hodgepodge that CGA kind of ended up with. But I appreciate that DFM didn't rush anything, waited until you had Ocean Soul. The game could have been over much earlier, but against a team like CGA, they gave them the respect. They said, if we engage in a team fight with, and end up losing our opportunity at Soul, it could really start to set us behind. And I definitely think that DFM took the correct path of not trying to force their will on CGA too hard. And then, of course, one thing that we always like to talk about is just mental. Coming back from game 1, it's a series. It's not a one-off. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon in these kinds of matches. So for the junglers here, you can see a couple of their stats here, but I do want to talk more about bot lane while we do have a minute, because the dive was okay in intention. It even could have been pulled off if a couple mistakes weren't made. But losing first blood that early on in a lane that you feel like you should have had advantage in is really rough. Also, just a weird amount of priority on Lux support. It's kind of been a thing a trend with CGA lately, to enjoy just the raw Lux support, not going for something like Luxona, which also could have been pulled off that draft if they wanted to move some stuff around. Having the Grays kind of muddled that a bit, but it easily could have been a game for that. But of course, those mistakes are in the past, and you really have to bounce back from them if you are CGA. Unica is a fairly accomplished Graves, but we've talked before about how he is being one of the newer players to this lineup, to CGA specifically. there's confidence issues there, and there is always that worry that, you know, Unica can feel stifled. There were games in the past where even on picks like Olaf, there were times that he could have been going for a play, but he just didn't feel like he had all the information, and you don't want to be the guy that's messing things up, especially for a new team. But by now you should be comfortable, and you need to have that level of trust with your teammates if you're going to try and have any chance against the likes of DFM. So if CGA can really find that within themselves, they definitely have a better chance in this series. But if that's something that they're missing, I would not be surprised to see DFM rolling this one. As we do have a little while longer before we get into Champ Select here. Credit where credit is due. I definitely think DFM played everything pretty much exactly how you'd expect. And that, while I don't want that to sound negative, I think it really just speaks to what I expect from DFM. I expect results. I expect wins. I expect them to come in this kind of a fashion. And DFM are happy to deliver on that sort of thing. Always get an aggressive top laner. Renekton has been seen by many a time for DFM in the top side. Steel is a fairly well-rounded jungler overall. And then Zeros can kind of just play whatever the comp desires. And even at times drafting something that doesn't exactly synergize with the comp, but it's something that he can at least work with. He can still bring something to the table. But we will see what he has in store for us in round 2 here. CGA opting in to the red side here is a little bit interesting after the side swap. So DFM are going to take blue side for this one. Side that they definitely favor for themselves in the last game. And I'm curious to see if CGA are going to be the ones banning away Bard this time, as that was a tool that led them to a decent amount of success in their series against Hawks Gaming. But Lucian is going to be banned away. DFM not wanting to play that one, or play that one again. But so far, a lot of early game focus coming out from DFM's bans. A bit curious to see what DFM are thinking with that, or in regards to that kind of early attention with the Lucian and LeBlanc bans, as well as Twisted Fate kind of just been a perma-ban of DFM and many other teams in the LJL. Renekton is also going to be taken off the table, so Caitlyn making her debut here in playoffs. I don't think Caitlyn has been played at all yet. Has been about like a high 90% ban rate, if not outright 100. But Set also coming out to play, and CGA thinking about drafting that one up for themselves. Yeah, 4% pick rate, because it has been so hard to even get your hands on a Caitlyn these days. A shortage of Caitlyns definitely has been seen in the LJL, but as Set is going to be picked up here, and Trundle actually going to be coming out as well. So CGA, little bit of a blast from the past in this early draft here, retains a bit of flexibility, although opting out of something like the Karma or some of the other options. DFM thinking about drafting their own luck support here is a little bit interesting, and Zero's going to be running it back on the Nico that we saw in their earlier set versus Burning Core. And I like DFM's comp so far. Has a lot of zoning tools, a lot of siege potential, because Nico and Lux can kind of just hold their spells. They can toss out bindings. Anything that lands is almost a guaranteed kill. But the siege, when you're forcing CGA under turret, it can be very difficult for them to try to find and engage around that when Caitlyn starts setting up trap lines and you're trying to push through push through Nico bindings, Lux bindings, so options definitely presenting itself. And with an Ornn ban coming out from DFM, I'm really starting to like this new drafting that DFM are starting to come up with. The CGA are going to ban away Camille and Lilia. Well, Echo is also going to be banned away, taking that one away from Arya in the mid lane, but I'm curious to see what CGA are going to draft into from here, because a lot of the major engage options are not that great into Lux Nico. Things like Nautilus just get rooted up and dropped down so quickly. Zoe is a great option here if CGA decide to do it, and that they will. If you can try and poke your way past DFM, you do risk getting hit with a bind out of the portal jump that Zoe loves to do, but we'll see if DFM have anything in store for that one. Kennen would be a little bit of an interesting one. Does make it a lot harder to engage on DFM, but I'm not a huge fan of the Kennen here. It sort of offers a little bit of a team fight tool if things get started up. Kindred would be something that I would actually love to see from DFM, and there it is. DFM have their defenses dug and ready. I am honestly in awe that I love this draft from DFM, and I think this would be the best response from CGA to pick up a Blitzcrank here. If you can pull any members away, should be a fairly free kill, and pulling members out of the Kindred ultimate is a great route to look at as well. So I think CGA have picked the tools to best deal with DFM's comp. Personally, I would have liked to have seen something like either a Maokai or something a little bit tankier that can be a body on the side of DFM instead of the Kennen, especially considering the amount of magic damage that is already coming out. But DFM have damage in spades, so CGA definitely have a little bit of an issue ahead of them in that department. Their catch potential is fairly high with Jhin, Zoe, and Trundle, alongside a Blitzcrank as well, finding pulls. So there's opportunity that presents itself for CGA, but it will honestly come down in large part to if CGA are active enough to make use of their tools. We've seen DFM just completely controlling the pace of the game in game one here. If CGA don't have the wherewithal to pull themselves up, to say that they need to be the ones making moves, DFM are just going to walk all over them, siege them down, and they should be able... This is a comp that can take turrets right in the face of all 5 members, so... A question of execution is high on the minds of both teams here, and hopefully CGA will be retaining the confidence necessary to pull this one out. Apologies, taking a quick sip of my tea there. Trying to keep my voice up to par for you all here, as I know these back-to-back best-of-5 series can start to strain on my throat, but hopefully it's not straining on the mental of these players here. I like the bot lane for Gango Grendel to really get some confidence instilled back for them, as you could be a couple hooks away from just feeling godlike on Jhin, especially as a champion like Jhin, who can abuse squishy champions so well. once he gets ahead, he can start popping heads of the side of DFM. And that's sort of also why I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of a tanky top laner to try and have anything that can stand up to either Zoe or Jhin. Sure, of course, you know, you do give a subjugate target to the Trundle, but it's sort of something that I've been on for quite some time, that Maokai is just criminally underrated in pro play right now. Weak lane, sure, but I think the ultimate of just the lane-wide control that you can have just is such a great counter engage, offers so much just terrain morphing. If anyone is trying to run in on your team, you can buy your entire team a couple seconds, which, if that's the difference in between, you know, a deadly flourish landing and then getting the Trundle to follow up, that could be everything for the side of CGA here. And while we are just waiting for the match to get started up here, I do just want to say thank you again for everyone tuning in. I am Dr. No. I do all English broadcasting for the LJL. I apologize if my voice is slightly under par today. It's been, it's definitely strained from yesterday, as those matches had me screaming. So, if you guys are interested, I would highly, highly recommend, if you guys did not catch those matches yesterday, they will be up on my YouTube. So if you see my Twitter down there below, you can leave a follow there, and I will tweet out as soon as I get those live. But we're getting started up here, so don't go anywhere.
LJL 2020サマースプリットプレーオフラウンド2マッチ2ゲーム2クレストゲーミングアクト vs デトネーションフォーカスミーの試合スタートです。
Alright, and as we're just taking one more little just cursory glance across the runes here, everything you would fairly expect to see. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Nap is going for the fleet footwork, so won't have Hex Flash on deck for the set. Although should still have Nimbus Cloak, if I'm not mistaken, and we do see, no, not even the Nimbus Cloak, so not going to be able to rely on Nap a ton for engages, which is a little bit worrying for Nap and for CGA, as you don't have a ton of engage options. Hex Flash on Grendel definitely is something that they can rely on. It's a little bit of a sweeper versus sweeper trying to get bush control right away. It's definitely a matchup where bush control will mean a lot for CGA and for DFM, because a Blitzcrank in the bush or a Lux in the bush, either of them landing a Q on you might mean the difference between life and death, as Gengo's going for a little bit of a trade there. A good hook from Grendel's going to pull Gang in, but DFM doing a great job of winning out on that trade in the end. Not quite pulling him under turret range, so not too worried. As it stands right now, that amount of damage onto Gango this early on means a lot in the way of pressure for DFM. So they'll be able to get the first shove off here. Unless Unica has anything to say about an early gank here, knowing that they started Sweeper actually means a ton for this gank opportunity. Flashes forward is not going to quite land, but the Deadly Flourish will keep him there long enough. Flashing out of the pillar range, but the chase is on. The phase rush is active. Udapon should be going down here, as Gango can't quite get in range to finish that one off, but Unica should be losing his life for it. It's a 1-for-1 so far, unless they have anything to do about that one. Grendel's hook, of course, is a fairly long cooldown, so with the amount of HP left on Gango, don't think they'll be finishing that one off in time. 1 kill for the jungler and 1 kill for the support. Grendel definitely not the one you want to be putting gold on, but I like this loop gank from DFM, punishing the greed and forcing out a teleport from Arya there. After the hook is landed, it's going to get turned on its head as Grendel grabs another kill for himself. Not the member you want to be going 2-0 so far, but not a bad position to be in by any means. And this was just a great play from CGA. You go for the flash early to just make it seem like you're taking this all in, as Unica has a great route into this gank. This was a beautiful play setup from CGA. It was a read on knowing that there was no vision on the bottom side, with Gang already popping sweeper right away, and being able to clear out Steel's ward that was on cooldown. So the repeat gank here from DFM is a nice punish on the side of CGA, as the ping that Arya was missing came in just a little bit too late. And Gang, no flash from earlier, is a free hook for Grendel, as both members of DFM are going to be buying boots immediately here off the first back. And Grendel actually getting those first 2 kills, already opting into the Mobies, is so much more threatening to the side of DFM, because now the longer he spins without taking damage, he's going to be just dashing in and out. He moves so much faster, and he can force DFM's bot lane to have to rotate and move around the minion wave that much more often. Mid lane, of course, in this specific matchup is a fairly uninteractive mid lane. Unless Grendel, speaking of interactions, looking for one in the bot lane, but not quite going to find it with that rocket punch. But Nico is a champion that definitely abuses melee matchups much harder than she abuses ranged matchups, and it's fairly easy for Arya to play full length from the wave, not have to worry too much about getting engaged on. Steel is thinking about making his way over. He will get spotted out by a pink ward here, and Unica is going to whap that vision cone, so Steel knows that he's not only seen, but Unica is on that side of the map, which will mean, of course, that Mark goes over to the Trundle. Sarah's a little cute play there to pop the W to tank the paddle star to not allow Arya to be able to shove the wave there. Actually, a kind of a fun play to try and pull that off, but are we looking for a play on the bot side here? Grendel's thinking about activating that W, not throwing a hook though. See, will spot Steel there. They might make the turn onto him. Q's already down. Grendel still holding that hook for now. The threat of just having that go-go gadget fist from the Blitzcrank is all that's needed for right now. Unless Saros can find a binding onto Arya, he'll just pop the ultimate. A beautiful dodge there from Arya as he lands asleep as well. Unica's trying to find his way over here. He's kind of getting caught around here, and no flash. Arya kind of got hung out to dry. Unica kind of just got baited with a little bit of ring around the rosy, not sure which way he wanted to go. Arya didn't have to burn any summoners, but there's no summoners for Steel to be burning right now, as he's going to flash away, get himself to safety. Gang is going to be the one who goes down, as a beautiful hook right there onto Utapon will mean he's going to be running for the hills. Flash is only just barely coming off cooldown, and he might need to use it immediately unless he can chase down Gango here. Evi's going to try to finish that one off, while Nap is going to get a nice face breaker. Goes for the ultimate, but there is nobody left to be helping him, as he can't quite finish Steel off there. No ultimate from the Jhin means no curtain call to try and clean up a couple kills. A bit chaotic from both sides there, but ultimately CGA, Utapon flashing out of that one, gets baited by the Hex Flash from Grendel. If Gango can land a deadly flourish here, there is still opportunity. But being fairly low HP and kind of stuck under turret for now. We'll watch the replay in the meantime, as This was just a great play from Arya to dodge out on that spell, and it would have gone so much better, but Unica just can't quite get over there. I wonder if pathing actually turned him around. He might have gotten blocked out from the minions there. But either way, Steel showed up just in time to get him to safety there, and then Gang is just in the middle of 4 members, and this sort of felt like CGA maybe reached a little bit too far here. I like the hook onto Udapon, but once the teleport is channeled, they just immediately make the call to back completely out, and they get split apart from Jin, so they can't continue the fight any further, especially with Nap coming in on the top end of that fight. Just a little bit awkward, but might be a catch here onto Steel, who just a little bit greedy for that camp there, and no flash means Unica's going to be able to grab that kill. And I'm liking to see that CGA are going kind of blow for blow on this early game here. Slight gold advantage over to them because of it. And CS is staying fairly even, but somewhat behind the curve of what you'd expect, as just there's been so much fighting across the map so far. While Steel is going to be just trying to keep himself farmed up. He has a lot of vision to try and clear if he wants to go for this Rift Herald. It feels a little bit greedy on the side of DFM to be going for this one. Caitlyn kind of playing the in-between right now. So they will have rotations here to go for this. So I don't think CGA really want to opt into this fight unless Unica wants to flash in there for a steal opportunity. But they will just be backing out of that one in the end. Rotating that many members over will give that to DFM, but Gango's going to enjoy some time on the bot lane just free farming. Getting closer to popping that coal, getting a couple items, and for Jin especially, that's a very sweet deal, as a lot of the going for Infinity Edge first has a lot of awkward buy points. Or going for Storm Razor as well. You just want to pick up, you want to get that first item as soon as possible on Jin, because if you can get ahead of Caitlyn, going auto for auto with her will definitely be a benefit. Aceros still in no real danger in the mid lane. You could take a chunk like that and honestly be alright. It's Grendel going for a bit of an aggressive play here. He's going to get all the way into Gang's face. He's in auto range, but not quite going to be able to get that one off. He will use the uppercut there just to buy himself an aftershock timer, as that's going to be a spell landed onto Saros. Meanwhile, on the other end, it looks like Steel got a little bit too aggressive, as the curtain call is going to be slowing them up for now. Don't think Udapon has anywhere to run, as the trap will not prevent Zoe from picking up that kill. That was a very confident CGA to just kind of run into the enemy jungle. And Steel didn't even have time to pop the ultimate. So Grendel just kind of ran right in the face of everyone. And the rotations are coming in here. Meanwhile, Arya lands the sleep, lands the exhaust. There's nowhere for Saros to be really running while he's trying to get over to his friends. Meanwhile, Steel just kind of ended up in melee range. It's just so hard to chase down CGA's comp because Blitzcrank will absolutely change up the ranges on you. And the last thing you want to be is face to face with a Trundle and a Blitzcrank. Meanwhile, thinking about a potential dive on the top lane. This would be a risky one, but he pops the facebreaker already. That's a little bit early from Nap. So he's now going to try and bide his time, wait for this teleport. That's going to be the haymaker to buy himself a little bit of time, but Evi's just going to get dropped to turret. And Arya might be able to force out the ultimate. There it is. He has cleanse to get out of that one. But now Grendel is here. He runs in with the ultimate. Ignite is already down as Ari is going to pick up that kill. Pop over the wall. Should just be able to get the autos off onto Steel while Grendel patiently waits his turn. He says, no, I already had my 2 kills. These ones are for you. But for now, CGA are kind of flipping the script from game 1 here. And I thought this was going to go a lot worse because Nap popped the Facebreaker on the wave, so he didn't really have a whole lot of options. Doesn't even bother to burn Flash. Evi just goes down to the turret. And then with how much damage Steel had already suffered, being level 7 right now, the punish is good, and CGA have been making great use of that Mobies on Grendel as he has just been up and down. He's been trying to be everywhere he possibly can. The Rift Herald is spawned up into the mid lane. Shouldn't be able to get that turret open, so first turret won't be popped for now, but Unica's in a little bit of a state as he's just going to get immediately popped up. He's going to flash away. The ultimate for the Lux is just barely not going to finish him off, but Saros is going to go for the chase there. Heal popped from Gango just to keep his jungler safe as Ari's going to pick up another 2 kills, and Grendel's just going to set him up with another one. As now Arya is just all over the Rift. The sleep is landed. The pop is in. And Arya is going to pick up a Quadra at the end of that one. Give him the Penta, Utapon. You know you want to. And the rest of the team is going to try to make it happen for him. Going to dunk him out from under turret. Will he be able to finish this one off? The Facebreaker is going to be good. There it is. Arya is going to get the Penta. I think it was unofficial as I think the timer ran out there. But 5 kills over to Arya. This game might have just been signed in the blood of DFM as CGA just find another fight win off of Unica getting caught out. This was just a terrible spot for him to be in. But it ends up being totally alright for them. Arya picks up 1, comes back and says, don't worry, I can finish off Saros 2. Grendel sets him up for the 3rd one here with a beautiful hook. Paddlestar comes in, he gets 3 kills, and I love this from Arya. Dodges out on the Q, doesn't even allow himself time, it doesn't allow Evi time to set up a stun, just finishes it off, and I love that Nap says, I'm here for you. The rest of the team is like, we'll go push. A little bit of an odd play for Unica to just go back and start farming, but everyone just kind of resets to their normal positions except for Nap and Arya. They say, yeah, let's go get you your Penta, bud. Because he has a 10-stack Magi's already and likely will be putting that up to more numbers as he is just well and far ahead in the gold count right now. 8,000 gold on Arya alone. He is just a little bit fed, I would say, roughly. Grendel's looking for an opportunity, trying to hold on to the vision control where he can, while Arya's just waiting to shove in lanes on the bottom side. That's a sleep landed. That's going to be a Paddlestar right on to Saros. Not quite the one shot just yet, but enough to make Saros think twice about how far up he can stand in that lane. And I gotta ask where this pick was for Arya in game 1. He didn't think the Zoe was quite appropriate, but in game 2, it's paying dividends for the side of CGA, to say the least. 9-0-2. What a ridiculous stat line for Arya. And we said at the start, Arya is an absolute monster. This game is just an exact example of that, and with Gango already 0-0-8, this is the most Jhin scoreline you will typically see. Is early on, plays mainly for assist, using the W Deadly Flourish and the Curtain Call to just set up plays for his team. Now he's getting to the point where he's strong enough, he will start doing a lot of the damage himself once he has RFC completed and then IE shortly thereafter. So right now, DFM are just going to do everything they can to keep pace. This Cloud Drake coming up, though. That's Evi wandering up here. I don't think he can stick around long enough to complete that one. Yep, there it is. That's going to be a flash over the wall. Grendel not going to allow him out of that one, as Evi has nowhere left to run. Gang flashes over the wall, but that's the wrong way, but you still got a nap in your face. It's a deadly flourish. Delivers that kill right into Gango's hands. His first kill of this game, so 109, not a bad position to be in, but I'm sure if you're Arya, you're kind of looking at him saying, hey, you got one. Congratulations. As almost a 7k gold lead now. Soul point to CGA.
今回は幸いなことにクラウドソウルなんですよ、ドラゴンが。なので、これ DFM としてはもう4つ渡す。
Well, I mean, there is always the benefit for DFM that you do have the Kindred ultimate. The problem now is even Steel living long enough to pop the ultimate off. Buying a cleaver will give you a little bit of HP, but there's no magic resist on any of the members of DFM yet. And only a small amount of armor on Steel, so if it's not gonna be the Zoe who gets you, and at this point it's looking like she will, Gango's happy to build up a couple items and get that job done for himself, but Nap is just gonna enjoy his time in the side lane, saying, I'll wait for my team fights. I don't exactly need to be a superb split push threat, as for now, setting up vision around the Baron is going to be on the minds of CGA. They can push in a bit here to try and set up some deeper vision with all of the pressure that they have. It looks like bot lane might be the target again. Don't bully the Evi. He's just a boy, but Nap doesn't seem to mind. He's going to dunk him all the same. And Stopwatch is going to save him for now, but only long enough for the second paddle star to come through, as there's the curtain call. Going to be on to Utapon, but the pillar's going to bounce in the wrong way, so not going to be going down just yet. And now CGA spawning up the Rift Herald in the mid lane. They should just be able to push that one down. Arya is honestly just a split pusher at this point, as there's not a whole lot of members of DFM that can really stand up to him. And this is sort of exactly what we talked about in Champion Select. Draft is very important, and in Game 1, DFM outdrafted CGA hard, and now CGA definitely found an answer to DFM's comp with this game. Drafting just poke comp, a little bit of catch potential as well coming out from Gango. And then, honestly, the Blitzcrank is what helped crack this one wide open. And that's an 18 stack Medjai. The real question is only, will we see Arya get to that 25 stacks? As he already has one unofficial penta. There actually hasn't been a proper pentakill yet in the LJL, so, or at least for Summer Split, rather. As Grendel's going to be going in here. Go fishing, Grendel, but not quite going to find something, as the punish is going to be onto Grendel there, as Nap's going to find a 4-man facebreaker. Nothing that can capitalize off right yet. Good dodge from that spell on Gango, as he's going to have to cancel the curtain call. So sleep is landed. Arya, ooh, not quite going over the wall for that one. Still recognizing the risk of eating a binding by going through the portal jump. Grendel should be popping up here again soon. Cloud Drake wasn't even up, so it wasn't even a fight that meant a whole lot. Oh, the bouncing grenade's gonna find his way onto Utapon, deal a little bit of damage there. But again, no objectives up for that fight means nothing that really needs to be done just yet. CGA, I think Grendel might have lost his shutdown from earlier on, but oh, hold on one moment. We will take a quick refresh here. My stream popped out here. Oh, what a wonderful time for an ad. Apologies, that was also probably very loud because it also reset my audio. Oh, hold on, we're right back into the action. A sleepy trouble bubble just landed onto Evi. He's gonna be running away. Curtain call, trying to find his target, but he's gonna find it onto Steel. No, quite. Gang's gonna catch that one on the back end, though, as Arya's gonna send another bubble out. He is just firing off spells over the wall while Grendel's gonna pick one up. Unica's already onto Sarah's, trying to chase him down, forcing him out of the fight. Nap trying to run away, but he's gonna burn down to the ignite. Grendel finds a hook. That's gonna be Utapon dead, as now the confidence for CGA to just run in on the rest of the members here is all that they need. A crit shot's gonna be executing Gang on one end, while Steel's trying to kite away. Be as playful as you can. You can't run from death, and you cannot run from CGA, as they have a 10k gold lead. They'll grab up the Cloud Soul as a formality. Meanwhile, Genga's just gonna shove up the mid lane wave there. That's gonna be Soul over to CGA. And all of the pressure you could possibly want for these next few objectives. And we'll get a replay. How did this all start? I was busy, unfortunately, watching a phone ad due to Twitch as a... Oh my gosh, Arya's damage. The splash damage even from the paddle start just does so much. Doesn't quite get there, but every sleep landed means that somebody has to tank a spell, and there's no tanky members on DFM, so nobody can really afford to take any amount of damage. As a beautiful... Oh, that facebreaker from Nap actually saved Gango. He did end up flashing anyway, but keeping him away from just burning him down with the slicing maelstrom there. As a Kindred R will only delay the inevitable, it feels like. Arya just picks up so many flashes along the way. And now, one last stand in the mid lane seems to be on the minds of DFM, as a Deadly Flourish isn't going to land for the root there. They're trying to just struggle to find any amount of Baron Vision. That's just gonna be Evi. Oh my goodness. Almost dead, but Nap's here to finish the top. Was that really the person you needed to be dunking Nap? As he's gonna pop the Haymaker to finish off Saros there. No, not quite. He's gonna be able to make an escape, but the bouncing grenade is gonna find his way. It bounced from... I think that was... It bounced off of Steel and found his way over there. The high-flying bouncing grenade, a little bit of an acrobatics act from that one, but Jin, always a champion to be putting on a show, as they're going to grab up Baron here. What is that, a 10k, almost 11k gold difference now? Looking like 12, going up even further as CGA are just... This whole game has been a performance from CGA, as Baron is going to be secured there. What do you even do as DFM at this point? Every member on the side of CGA feels about an item ahead, but watch this one more time. Evi, I'm so curious how much HP he had at the end of this one. Lands the spell, he almost goes down, and then everyone's struggling to contest, but that was just rude. Nap, that was just absolutely rude. But watch Gango here. He pops the grenade. It goes on to Steel. Bounces, goes up in the air, and bonk right on top of Saros there, while Gango finishes off the last kill. And CGA can honestly run wherever you want. Evi's trying to trade for a turret on the top side, but don't even think he'll have time to start whacking that turret, as CGA are already on to the inhibitor turret, trying to break open this base with this Baron. But honestly, they don't even need to be the first to act. Just spending their time throwing out spells. So teleport's coming in. That's going to be Evi going for a flank opportunity. And Arya's going to show him why you don't do that. As Paddlestar's going to chunk him out to about 2/3 HP. Curtain call is going to be popped off here. Going to be mainly just clearing out the wave. I don't think anyone was quite low enough to be caught out just yet. As Arya's just going to be going forward there. Gango already onto the Nexus turrets, as that's just going to be a kill found onto the jungler there. Evi can pop the slicing maelstrom, but there's just no damage that can come in to deal with CGA. I don't know if this needed to be a 32-7 game, but CGA definitely felt confident that it did, and they're going to do just that. 16k gold advantage. Every turret already taken that from mid lane into the Nexus. GG's to CGA. It's going to be 1-1 in the series. In dominating fashion. As CGA, it felt like we're just putting on a show for their own confidence. Good stuff over to CGA. It's going to be 1-1 in the series. So now it's going to be DFM's turn to rally back as... You know, you checked CGA, you brought them in, and you said, hey, still need to give us respect. We're still DFM. Now CGA came back with a much bigger club and whacked hard. So if you guys are looking forward to the rest of those games, don't go anywhere as we have more League of Legends still on its way.
L 選手キリに入れば可能性全然ありましたからね。
今度スティールがもう Q だけです。Q と、パッシブのノットを叩くだけですね。
いや本当に今回のゲームはちょっとアリア選手にキルが入りすぎましたね。
ただやはりそのリールさんの話にも言っていましたそのグレンデルのフックによる有利の取り方っていうところがその非常に大きかったですよね。
そうですね。これ一つの狙いとして、はい、DFM にケイトリンを取り続けさせて DFM の得意はトップサイドゲームではなくボットサイドゲームにさせた上でそこを勝負していくというのは一つこの対 DFM CGA の狙いとしては面白いかなと思うので。なるほど。次レッドサイドを選んでくる可能性もあるかもしれませんね。もうケイトリンを開けるドラフトをするわけですね。DFM にむしろバンさせるとか、で何よりもアリア選手がやはり後出しミッドチャンピオンできるというのもレッドサイドの大きな強みになってくると思うので、サイド選択からちょっと楽しみですね、次のゲーム。だから BO5 でそのゲーム1、ゲーム2、逆のチームが一方的な展開で勝ってちょっと珍しい展開です。かなり珍しい。普通はサイド選択権がある方が順当に勝っていくものですからね。さあ分からなくなってまいりました。1-1の状況です。それではゲーム3まで一度インターバルとなりますので失礼いたします。決まると非常に大きいんです。レベル2になったタイミングでフラッシュインフック、ただしフラッシュで対応した。しっかりとスネを当てて打ち上げからここにユニカがやってくる。フラッシュ対応ユータボン、ただしそれに対してユニカもクラッシュで対応、スローを与えていく。ファーストブラッド取れるか。ただしスティールもここで参戦。ただここでユータボンがデッド、ファーストブラッ